Spurs looking to hand centre-back Micky van der Ven a new contract after a string of impressive displays. Kolo Muani injury means Spurs could be in the market for a new striker in January. Yves Bissouma to move on in the transfer window, or Spurs could lose him on a free. The Rodrigo rumours that just won't go away, and a full loan roundup. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Craig and here are your daily Tottenham news headlines, where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube and are not already as yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Like, share and comment below. And if you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Okay, let's get into it. Tottenham Hotspur are ready to discuss an improved contract with the representatives of Micky van der Ven, according to Sky Sports. Spurs want to hold on to the Netherlands international for as long as possible, as clubs in England and Europe continue to monitor his situation. Premier League clubs have noticed his brilliant form and would love to lure him away from Spurs. Despite being a defender, Van der Ven has been impressive in the final third for the North London club, with 6 goals to his name in 16 appearances so far this season. The Dutchman has scored more than his teammates in the current season, and he bagged a Puskas contender last week after making a box-to-box solo run to score the 3rd goal in the 4-0 victory over Copenhagen in the Champions League. Van der Ven has proven over and over again that he is one of the most influential players at Spurs, and he deserves an improved deal without any doubt. Football Insider report that Tottenham have serious concerns after Kolo Muani suffers a major injury. Kolo Muani has made just 8 appearances for Tottenham so far, having missed the start of the season with a muscle injury, and will now be ruled out again. Alongside Dominic Solanke undergoing ankle surgery last month, Spurs are in a difficult situation with regard to their attacking options and now have serious concerns. That is according to former Tottenham and Manchester United senior scout Mick Brown, who remains very well connected within the game, as he exclusively told Football Insider that the club could now be forced to spend on a new striker in January. Tottenham are going to have to look at signing a striker, he told Football Insider. I think they'll have serious concerns about the issues they've had up front, both with players who have been injured and the ones who haven't performed. If you're aiming to be successful, as Tottenham are, you need a striker who can score you goals. They don't have that, like I say, whether it's due to injuries or whatever, but it's a problem for them. Now Kolo Muani looks to have picked up another major injury. I think that they're going to have a look at what's available to them in January. I think it will also be a concern for them because this is the 2nd injury he's had since arriving in the summer, although this one isn't a muscle injury. Who that might be, I don't know, but it's definitely a position where they might need to strengthen. This comes after Brown told Football Insider that Tottenham could be forced to sign a striker if they lose another, with Kolo Muani's injury now forcing their hand. Sportsmail report that Tottenham Hotspur are reportedly looking to offload a midfielder in the January transfer window to free up space in Frank's squad. The North London club's midfield currently includes Pat Matasar, Rodrigo, Bentancur, Lucas Bergveld, Yves Bissouma and on loan Portugal international João Palhinha. However, Spurs are said to be aiming to move on Bissouma, who is yet to feature for them this season after being dropped for disciplinary reasons. Frank omitted the Mali international ahead of the European Super Cup game against Paris Saint-Germain due to ongoing lateness issues, though an ankle injury has kept him out since. Nevertheless, Spurs are reportedly settled on the future of the former Brighton and Hove Albion player, with a Turkish heavyweight linked. According to Sun Sport, Galatasaray are still interested in signing Bissouma, having failed to do so during the transfer window in the summer. The Super League's champions showed interest in the summer and were keen to compete with rivals Fenerbahce for his signature, but the deal ultimately fell through. Although no official details were provided, it's understood that a complex knee issue prevented the transfer. However, Galatasaray remain interested, according to the source. The report indicates that Galatasaray aim to sign the 29-year-old when his Spurs contract expires in the summer of 2026, with plans to offer him a 3-year deal. Frank admitted in October that Bissouma could be sidelined for several weeks following his return from national team duty with an ankle injury, and a November comeback is expected. Still, it remains uncertain whether he would have played for the club anyway, especially since he was dropped from the squad and was not close to featuring before his layoff. Sunsport, however, indicate that the Mali international still hopes to play for the North London club once more before ultimately leaving. Whether the midfielder gets his wish is another matter entirely, though, with the club's involvement in multiple competitions could mean some participation before the end of the season. Reports in Spain today state that Tottenham have not ruled out making a signing or two in January itself and have tabled an offer worth £70 million to sign Real Madrid superstar Rodrigo, who has struggled for game time under Alonso. He's played only 359 minutes, less than the 4 full matches across 13 outings in all competitions for Madrid, and he's actually below 3 players in the pecking order. Rodrigo's form has not been too good either, with only 1 goal in the last 8 months, and the Brazilian international could welcome a change as soon as the winter kicks in to regain his feet in time for next summer's World Cup. It remains to be seen whether Real Madrid are willing to let Rodrigo leave midway through the season, though, especially because their Copa del Rey campaign will also start in January and require them to have a better squad depth. Nonetheless, if departing the Spanish capital in January is on the cards for Rodrigo, Tottenham Hotspur will have a strong chance at securing his transfer, given that other suitors like Arsenal and Liverpool might not splurge big in 2026. Spurs can also provide Rodrigo a starting role in the team, and given that they are one of the most budding young sides in the Premier League with only a few more areas to fix, the Madrid star could welcome a tricky but exciting challenge. Even though Rodrigo was valued at roughly £85 million in the summer, £70 million might be good enough for a bid for Spurs to land him in a couple of months, considering how less the Brazilian has played so far this season. And courtesy of Football.London, here's a quick loan roundup for you all. Luka Vuskovic has become an ever-present for Hamburg and is hugely popular within the club's fans, his shirts selling in large numbers for the Bundesliga outfit. The late drama wasn't just reserved for the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at the weekend, as the 18-year-old centre-back enjoyed a day to remember on Saturday as Hamburg grabbed the 97th minute leveller at home against Borussia Dortmund. Spurs' young Croatian recorded the host's most defensive contributions on the day as he managed 10 clearances, including 9 headed ones, along with 3 interceptions, 2 blocks and 2 ball recoveries. Micky netted his first goal for Rangers with a confident finish in the 3-0 win at Dundee as the Danny Roll era at the club stretched to 3 consecutive Scottish Premiership wins. The 18-year-old swept home his finish after a good passing move from the visitors, as he was denied a second goal before the break after it was adjudged on review that offside Mohamed Dearman had interfered with Dundee goalkeeper John McCracken's view of Danilo's initial attempt. Moore was a constant pest to Dundee during his 66 minutes on the pitch, drifting off the right wing into more central positions to cause problems aplenty. Will Lancashire netted his 5th goal of the season for champion side Oxford as they lost 2-1 at Ryan Mason's West Bromwich Albion. It was a much-needed victory for Mason, who has been under ever-increasing pressure following a poor run of form with the Baggies. Lancashire was on hand to convert prize Mylor Plachet's cross from close range and give the visitors a 54th minute lead at Hawthorns, but the hosts turned it all around to claim all 3 points. Manor Solomon's loan at Villarreal has not been a successful story so far, as the 26-year-old has made just 1 La Liga start. The winger has been an unused sub on the bench for the last 3 matches and missed out entirely on their matchday squad for Saturday's 2-0 win at Espanyol due to a back problem. In the Champions League, he has been an unused sub in 3 of the Spanish club's 4 games, albeit one of those against Juventus as he missed it as it fell on Yom Kippur. Yang Min-hyuk got just 7 minutes from the bench at the end of Portsmouth's 3-2 defeat at Hull City on Saturday. The 19-year-old had been on a run of 7 straight starts in the Championship, but as the results took a turn for the worse, so Yang found himself unused on the bench in the midweek goalless draw at home to Wrexham, and then came on only for the final minutes of the defeat at Hull. It's been a positive loan spell on the whole, though, for the South Korean starlet, with 2 goals and 1 assist in 10 appearances. Moving on to Alejo Veliz, it was only the second time in 7 league matches in Argentina that Alejo Veliz did not score or record an assist for Rosario. The 22-year-old has enjoyed a return to Argentina and has picked up 5 goals and 1 assist in his 15 matches back at his old club. Saturday bought a goalless affair, though, at home against San Lorenzo. Alfie Devine continues to get plenty of championship experience with Preston as they also drew at the weekend 1-1 with Millwall. The midfielder came off the bench for the final 20 minutes of the game but has started the majority of matches for North End since joining in the summer. The 21-year-old's cameo from the bench earned him a 6.5 in Lancashire Post's player ratings, with the words "threw himself straight into the contest and showed plenty of bite, made a positive impact overall." And Tottenham must be considering recalling Jamie Donnelly from his loan spell at Stoke, for the 20-year-old has barely featured for the Potters. He has not started a single game in the Championship and has only come off the bench twice in the past 13 matches in the league. Donnelly has not been included in the past 3 matchday squads under Stoke boss Mark Robins, and Tottenham will be wary of his development being stunted by the lack of opportunities to play, with 77 Championship minutes to his name across 4 matches. His Spurs teammate Ashley Phillips is back in contention at least and has started the past 8 matches in the league for the Potters, playing every single minute of them. Alfie Dorrington has missed game time at Aberdeen in recent weeks due to injury. The 20-year-old centre-back has been out of the past 2 matchday squads in the Scottish Premiership and is not expected to be back for several weeks. Damola Ajayi was also out of the matchday squad at Doncaster as they lost 2-1 at home to Barnsley in League One on Saturday. Ajayi has been getting experience though on his first loan, with 15 appearances and 1 goal with 585 minutes under the 19-year-old's winger's belt. Tyrese Hall has been getting plenty of game time for Notts County. The 20-year-old midfielder has got 5 goals and 1 assist across 814 minutes in 15 appearances on his first senior loan. And George Abbott is currently out for Wycombe Wanderers for potentially up to 4 months with a quad injury. Okay, here's my thoughts on all those stories today. Firstly, this Micky van der Ven new deal, new contract, or certainly just a wage increase. We're led to believe the contract, I think, runs till 2029 for Micky van der Ven, so not really necessary at the moment, you would think, to increase the length of it, but certainly giving him improved money, essentially, and perhaps better bonuses. I don't know, but they're obviously looking to do something with Micky van der Ven, and for me this is an important deal on the back of Christian Romero signing a new long-term contract. We need to keep van der Ven at the club and keep Real Madrid from sniffing round. I think our back 4/5, when you include Spence in that, whether it be Porro or Doggy dropping out, but when you've got Porro, Doggy, Spence, van der Ven, Romero, can they be our Cole Walker, Toby Alderweireld, Jan Vertonghen and Danny Rose for years to come? I think they probably can. I think they're only going to improve. I think playing together, you can see when they're on their game, it just makes us look like a better team. And the drop-off when certainly one of our centre-backs drops out, even though Kevin Danso comes in and does a good job, he's not the same, for example, as Christian Romero. So keeping van der Ven fit and keeping him at the club, in my opinion, is paramount. This new deal, not necessarily extending the length of his contract, but this new deal, we need to tie Micky van der Ven down and keep other teams like Real Madrid from sniffing around. So let's hope they can get that done. Randall Kolo Muani suffers another injury, which is not good for him. This is his 2nd injury since he's been at Spurs. I did read something that up until he joined Tottenham, for his whole career, he'd only ever missed 8 games. I think that's right, only 8 games, and now he comes to Spurs and gets 2 injuries. Desperately unlucky. This one obviously just collided with Harry Maguire. So how long he's going to be out? Thomas Frank's got a way of making things not sound as bad as they are, and then a player's out for a few months. So look, let's hope that's not the case. It doesn't sound like Kolo Muani needs surgery, but let's hope this isn't a long-term one, because he was just starting. You're starting to see signs. Yes, he hasn't scored, but you're just starting to see signs of what he can do as he's getting up to fitness. So this is a definite blow. But I suppose leading on from that, do Spurs go in for another striker in January? We still don't really have any concrete information about Dominic Solanke. We don't know how long Kolo Muani is going to be out. That leaves Matisse Tell. And of course, we can't play Tell in the Champions League as it stands. Muani can drop out. now if that's what the club want to do and bring Tell into that squad. So we will have Tell to fill that position. But should we go for somebody else in January? I think we should. I think we should be looking at a striker in January and somebody else that can play on the wing, like a Rodrigo, which I'll come on to in a minute. It needs improving, and it definitely needs strengthening. We've scored a few goals, but the lack of quality sometimes, it's there for all to see. So gutted for Muani that he's not going to be playing again after the international break, probably for at least a few weeks. But let's keep everything crossed that that's not too long. But I genuinely think we need to go into the market in January and see what we can do and get in some big players if we can. Bissouma, again, the rumours that Galatasaray are still interested. Now, is Bissouma just going to want to stay at the club, run his contract down and get a bigger payday in the summer? It's quite possible. We've seen players do that, and a lot of more players are doing that now. Spurs will definitely look to offload him if they can in January, or would they just let him go if they can get him off the books? I don't know. Bissouma, obviously not really, you would think, in Thomas Frank's plans, regardless of what he says, that the door's always still open for players. I just don't think Frank is going to play Bissouma, even if he was fit, to be honest with you. Perhaps if he had a lot of injuries in the centre midfield, he may well play Bissouma, but I don't think he's ever going to be one of his first choice players. So I think you'll see Bissouma move on in January. Rodrigo, interesting one again, and I've spoken about Rodrigo at length. Is this the sort of player Spurs should be going for? Yes, definitely. Can I see Spurs going for Rodrigo? Possibly not. But if we want to push on, if we want to compete on all fronts, then Rodrigo is definitely the sort of player we should be going for. Not getting much game time at Real Madrid at the moment. But as I say, this is the sort of player we need to be going for. Superstar, essentially. Superstar Rodrigo. Other clubs are definitely going to be sniffing around. We've just got to convince him to come to Spurs if that's what Tottenham want to do. But I just want the club to show a bit of ambition. Need to put their money where their mouth is, essentially. You know, they've said they want to do this and that, and they're putting money in. They're in it for the long term. Show us your mean business then. And the loan roundup there, some of our players doing better than others, getting more minutes than others. You're always going to get that with loan deals. The one that concerns me, really, is Jamie Donnelly. Just doesn't seem to be clicking for him at the moment, does it? I would imagine the club recall Jamie Donnelly in January. He sounds like he's having a pretty miserable time at the moment. So, look, I've always rated Jamie Donnelly as a player. Really want for him to have an opportunity at Spurs. Is he going to get that under Thomas Frank? I don't know. I'd like to see Jamie Donnelly come back in January, and whether he goes out on loan again, this loan just hasn't worked out for him. So let's hope that there are better days ahead for Jamie and he can come back to the club and the club can find him, if they want to, a decent loan for the second half of the season, and hopefully Jamie can start kicking on in his career again. Well, that's all from me today. Get down in the comments, let me know your thoughts on all those stories today, or anything else you want to talk about as a Tottenham Hotspur fan right now. And as always, come on you Spurs.